Welcome back to the 2022 Engen Pitch Polish program. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Rams Mabote, your host. We have reached the halfway mark for round 2, and what a roller coaster it has been so far. Our judges, Bulela from Engen Petroleum, Alan from Nedbank, and Alon from Racecorp are taking no prisoners this round. All I can say is that despite that first prize being worth 1 million rand, I am much happier to be a spectator and not one of the contestants. No, anyway. Our top 8 contestants haven't just been thrown in the deep end though. They have continued with the comprehensive learning program as well as one-on-one mentorship sessions from Racecorp. And I have certainly noticed some major shifts in the pitches between round 1 and round 2. How about you? And how's your pitching game coming along as you have followed the learning sessions? Let's join Yasmin for more insights and thought-provoking questions.
Thanks, Rams, and welcome to our penultimate learning segment for the 2022 Pitch and Polish competition. In previous episodes, we've worked through all the major aspects potential investors want to know about, and now it's time to present. There are 3 aspects to pitching for investment. The first is your written proposal. The second, your in-person presentation, and the third, the visuals you use when presenting. Let's take a closer look at all 3. Firstly, your written proposal outlines your business and the investment you are proposing. Now, this can't just be a collection of research, facts, figures, and projections. You need an underlying strategic thread that answers the question, so what? What does this mean to your business, and how does it affect your sustainability and growth? What can go wrong, and how will you deal with it? The written proposal is the story of your business, from where it started to where it is going. The best proposals read more like a narrative rather than a dry business textbook. So you need to include yourself and your personality. Also use infographics and images, but ensure these don't distract from your message. And please run a spelling and grammar check on your document. Ignoring such an important detail always conveys the impression that you neglect the detail in your business as well. And who wants to invest in someone like that? Another tip is that even if you email your potential investor the proposal before the presentation, always have copies printed and bound for everyone you expect to attend, plus 1 extra one just in case. Thanks for joining me for these sessions. Next time, you'll meet one of my colleagues as they discuss the extremely important area of talent and HR. So until next year, it's goodbye from me. Back to you, Rams.
Fantastic stuff, yes. Thank you very much. Let's quickly review the current competition standings before we get to the pitches. So far, we have seen 2 contestants making it through to the semi-final round, Lakim Nigati from the red group and Palesa Mutaung from the green group. Tonight, we'll learn from Notandokova and Luvo still standing from the blue group. I'm sure you're wondering if we are doing another viewer prize giveaway tonight. Well, of course we are. I'll even give you a hint about the answer. Just listen carefully to the next 2 pitches. Speaking of which, here is Luvo Kukwana from KwaZulu-Natal. His business is Green Arch Innovation.
Hi, Luvo.
Hi, judges.
How are you feeling?
I'm doing really well.
Are you prepared?
No, I'm prepared 100%.
What have you got there on your right?
I've got samples from my aquaponic systems. So here we have our leafy lettuce, purely grown organic, and then we have our trout and tilapia.
Okay. And who do you sell the trout and tilapia to?
So currently we're selling to restaurants around,
Uh-huh.
and then I want to tap into the retail space. That's why I want
Okay.
to expand our.
You can leave that for the pitch. Yeah. So, Luvo, are you ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pitch and polish.
In rural communities, we depend on a piece of land for a livelihood. That's for both income and food security. However, the context becomes different when this piece of land becomes too dry and degraded. This is, however, exacerbated by frequency of bad weather conditions such as droughts and floods. These challenges do not only threaten our food security, however, increase the vulnerability for millions of small-scale farmers in South Africa. For me, the question was, what could be the solution? Well, judges, while I was pursuing my studies at university, I was appointed the president of a global entrepreneurship program that challenges students to develop innovative and business solutions to advance our communities. It is through this program that I developed my first aquaponics pilot. And through this aquaponics pilot, we got an opportunity to win the national competition, and we advanced to represent South Africa at a global scale. Today, it marks 4 years, and I'm proud to say my name is Luvo Kugwana, founder of Green Action Innovations. We design, construct, and franchise aquaponics systems as an alternative to traditional farming methods. Well, aquaponics is a unique symbiotic system that grows fish and plants simultaneously using minimal water and no soil. We have designed a unique franchising model where we finance the setup of the system, and we enter into a shared profit agreement with the franchisee for a period of 3 to 4 years in order to recover our franchise cost. Furthermore, through this franchising model, we have 3 revenue streams. One is by setting up the system. Number 2, by selling the production inputs to the franchises, as well as selling the fresh produce market to the market. We have a unique value proposition where we set up the system and guarantee market access for all our franchisees. For us to scale, we want to integrate an IoT system and a franchising management system, as well as we'd like to have coaching that will help us to become very marketable to our clients. Judges, we're creating a 12 million profit business in a period of 3 years. That would really love you to be part of. Thank you.
Thanks, Luvo. And 2 seconds to go. Well done. Good timing. Right. Bolela.
Thank you, Luvo. What are some of the lessons you picked up in the first round that you've immediately implemented in your business?
Okay, so one of the remarks was for someone who couldn't understand what aquaponics was, it was very imperative for me to integrate the explanation what aquaponics is, so that someone who doesn't understand the concept and understand how it is unique from the traditional way of doing farming.
And how are you marketing your offering?
Okay, so we in terms of our customer acquisition, so when we attend a lot of agricultural seminars where we showcase our innovative idea, and that's where we were able to attract about 100 farmers who are into our database who want to take up the franchise. And also we use virtual platforms to market our business as well.
Great. And what are your competitors doing really well that you are nervous about?
Okay, so our competitors, they are independent farmers. So which means they own that one independent system, and also they won't be able to tap into a huge market because of the size of their system. What we're trying to do at Green Action Innovations, we're franchising our system, so we own a huge farm by creating multiple puzzles so that we're able to satisfy one market. And then also we have vested interest in our clients. That's why we set up the system and then guarantee you access to markets.
Thank you.
Alan?
Is it freshwater fish?
It's freshwater fish.
So I'm just trying to get my head around the concept. So you're saying the people that are making use of the system can simultaneously
grow,
cultivate fish and
absolutely
vegetables. Okay.
Absolutely.
On the same system.
Same system, absolutely.
All right. So thank you for clarifying that. It was just to make sure my head was in the right place. Then you mentioned something about guaranteeing the producers market access. Can you just maybe elaborate?
Okay, yeah. Because it's a franchising model, so we set up the system for the farmer, then we enter into a shared profit agreement. So meaning that when we develop the system, we take your produce and we sell to the market. So when we engage to the market, we're supplying the restaurant, collecting from all the franchises to the market. So when we sell even to the retail stores, we'll take all the produce from the market, from the franchises, and then sell to the retail stores. And we're currently selling to restaurants using the same model. So that's how we develop the system for you, and then guarantee you that because we buy from your system, we take and then to the market. So we guarantee you market access.
Okay, fantastic. Then maybe my last question. So I understand this concept itself, you're looking to franchise, is that right?
We've already done 3 of the systems, currently running on 3 systems.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what is the, I guess, the main revenue stream for you? Is it the sale of the aquaponics system, or is it ultimately the profit share that comes from the produce?
Okay, so initially it was setting up the systems, but then when we realized the cost expenditure to set up the system, now we have 2 primary revenue streams. One is supplying the production pools, that's your fish feed, and you are a registered distributor in South Africa to provide farmers with fish feed, but also as well, because we're selling to the market, that's another major revenue stream for us by selling the produce to the market.
Great. Nice annuity revenue. Thank you.
Just go through you spoke about 3 to 4 years that you partner with your franchisee with profit share. Is that correct? Did I understand that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
What happens after that?
Okay, so because we're developing this model, we want to allow our franchisees to own the infrastructure, because the main reason why we injected to the systems, because farmers can't afford to set up the system primarily, so we have to meet them halfway in terms of the setup cost. And however, from that 3 months, the ratio of sharing the profits is changed after 3 years, because now they've really paid our infrastructure back. Then we change the ratios of sharing the profits so that now they can be.
Okay, I understand that. So after that, one of your revenue streams stops.
It won't stop.
It won't stop.
Because I've already covered my setup cost.
Yeah.
So meaning from 3 years, I'll still continue the 3 revenue models, because I'm supplying you with the fish feed. And
Go on.
Yes, and then also I'm taking the market to produce to the market,
Right.
and I've already recovered my setup cost plus profit after that. Yes.
So coming back to the farmer, I'm trying to get from their perspective.
Yes.
In the first 3 years,
Yes.
what percentage of the total profit is going back to paying back the setup cost?
So it's a 40-60% ratio. They take 40%, I take 60%.
And what happens after the 3 to 4 years? What
So
does it go to 50-50?
So after 4 years, we only take our margins, which is 20% from selling the produce to the market. But however, they still buy from us in terms of the production inputs.
So you do lose that. The profit share disappears after that.
After, yes, because
That's what I was trying to get at.
Okay,
I
yes.
wanted to be clear on that. So that disappears. So in essence, it's a financing mechanism.
Absolutely right.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Luvo.
Thank you so much.
You may leave.
Thank you.
Thank,
you.
Sure. Great pitch. What did you think?
Amazing pitch. I think that's an example of really channeling your nerves for good. You could see he wasn't completely comfortable,
Yeah.
but he had something to get across, and he got that across in the time given. So really well done.
Yeah. The content also, lots of it.
Yeah. So first of all, significantly better pitch than what he did last time. Content, he was on point. And that point you were asking about, I mean, it sounds like they've thought that through. I mean, my understanding is that the change in ratio is a function of him having recovered the infrastructural costs at that point, and then he's sort of giving back to the farmer. I still think there's a bit of an opportunity lost potentially there, but great content. He's sharp, he knows his stuff.
Yeah, super sharp. I mean, for me also, what I really love is the fact that he's done something. Many of the pitches so far, I'm going to have had conversations, but he has he's done something. When you said how many franchises, he said, I've already done 3.
Yeah.
I've done.
Yeah.
What more can you ask?
Yeah.
Well, I
He's
can
still
ask you to score.
Luvo, I saw a different man from round 1 to round 2, even though you still were dashing. What would you say was the difference today compared to last time?
Yeah, I think for me, it's being able to take feedback from the judges, and then also being really receptive to what my guide told me in terms of how I should posture myself, and then as well how I can, because I understand my business, how I articulate it should be the way that I understand it, and as well as taking feedback from the judges, knowing really well what they missed out on for my previous pitch.
Yeah.
Then I was able to integrate those things into my pitch, trying to make sure that I don't leave those gaps, because they did kind of explain that might have worked against me.
Yeah.
But now that I got a second opportunity to progress to semi-finals, it kind of allowed me to integrate all the feedback I got from the judges to make my pitch better. That's why you're here, we pitch and polish.
What is the one thing though, just one thing that you think the guide noticed and said, make sure this one is in the next pitch and make sure it's up there up front?
Yeah, I think it was my profile. Like on a judge's perspective, what would make judges think I'm the best person to guide my business?
Yeah.
So that's where even when I kind of created my story around how I got into the this business model, it was through my personal story. It's something that I had to find a way to integrate, because it's very important for the judges to kind of resonate with how I got into this business and why am I the best person to guide the business.
Are you the best person for the next round?
Think so.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Let's give away another 5,000 Rand gift voucher from Take a Lot. Are you ready? Here's tonight's question. How many aquaponics systems has Luvo already sold? How many aquaponics systems has Luvo already sold? If you know the answer, go to the Pitch and Polish Facebook page and post it there before midnight tonight. We'll announce the winner of our random prize draw on Facebook tomorrow afternoon. Now to our last remaining contestant from the blue group. Here is Notandokova, founder of Umbilo Express Plant Hire, based in KwaZulu-Natal.
Hello.
Hi, Notando. How are you doing?
Well, and you guys?
Good. Are you prepared?
I am.
You know,
Nervous, yes. But it's all good.
it's good.
Let's get through the 2 minutes, then we'll talk.
And so I start off with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pitch and Polish.
Thank you for having me again. My name is Nolly of Umbilo Express Plant Hire down in Durban. Our purpose in the business is to become the preferred plant hire company in our area. We want to achieve this by having available, reliable equipment, as well as a competitive turnaround time on site. So let me bring you closer to my till. We turn over an average of 345,000 Rand a month. 78% of that is our break even. With the prize money, we want to inject equipment into our existing plant categories. These are compressors, breakers, generators, as well as cutters. We also want to inject new plant into the stream, which is cutting torches, pressure testers, as well as electric compressors. By doing this, we will increase our equipment hire revenue from 83% to 91%, as well as decrease the dependency on cross-hire business, which is consuming at the moment 4% of our revenue. Through this program, which I'm on now, I've become aware of another revenue potential, which we've just been skimping on, where we've other revenue we're making 5%. This is delivery and collection, as well as sales revenue, where we're making 8% of the revenue. But if we can apply deliberate action to have these items readily available in our shop, so we become a one-stop shop to the client, and our equipment becomes a plug-and-play on site, we'll be able to maximize our margins. So let's talk about the passion which drives me. If I can control the revenue, increase the revenue, control the fixed asset, and keep a pressure on the cost of sales, our net profit will increase. By doing that, the company...
You can finish that sentence.
Thank you so much. By doing that, we will be able to save money for emergencies. We'll be able to invest in the business and perhaps in others.
I finished the sentence, not 2 sentences.
Oh, but one more word.
One more
This
word.
is important. And with the dividends that we will be able to take, I will be able to foresee my dream of paying it forward and keeping the wheels of change going. Thank you for the opportunity.
It looks like, Notando, you don't know what one word means.
I'm a woman.
Alan.
Yeah, thanks, Notando.
Sure.
Just maybe give us a sense as to why you've decided on those pieces of equipment that you would use the 650,000 Rand to invest in.
Thank you. That's a great question. So we do hires for these equipment already. We actually are supplying them. However, they're not our machinery. We are sourcing them. So it's the turnaround time to go and get them to then send to our customers. But also we're using that data from those hires to determine what we need to put in our fleet in order to maximize our performance with our clients. Yeah.
Then just give me a sense as to sort of where do you see this thing? So 3 to 5 years time.
Yes.
Where does Umbilo Express plant hire, what does it look like in 3 to 5 years from now?
Ideally, we're going to move into the earth moving. We're going to include earth moving into our hire fleet, which will obviously scale us on greater levels than we're on at the moment. And past that, we actually, I'm thinking that we need to open another branch, perhaps started at the level that we're on in a place that hasn't been had a plant hire shop, and then also scale it to what Umbilo Express Plant Hire is now.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Of the lessons you've picked up in the first round, which have you implemented already in your business?
So the main thing that I've implemented, I was just telling my guide that I am an introvert by nature. I don't spend time talking to people, and from being in this competition, I've actually managed to on the plane meet somebody, have a conversation with them about my business. I'm actually going to a meeting today afterwards to go and further discuss it with the connections that I gained from there.
That's great. The pay it forward, what does that look like?
Okay, so I am paying it forward in already, but not in the sense that I would like to. So, you know, when somebody assists you, you can't give back to them because they're like, no, I'm just helping you out. And that made me feel like I needed to do something for other people as well. So, for instance, my cousin who didn't finish school, she had a grade 9, and she was at home and had no plans or any way of making money. I've put her through to a nail course where she's now got a job in town, and she's working for herself, or she's going to be working for herself. I'm trying to get her there, but you know, it's taking some time. And yeah, so I want to do things like that where people who feel, or I feel might feel that they're stuck, I want to be able to pull them up.
And the floods in KZN, have they affected your business in any way?
They have, but in a positive way. Fortunately and unfortunately, but yes, the shop has gained some customers from that. For instance, on Sunday, before I caught the plane, I had a call from a customer to come and give them some vacuums. So I had to balance that and rush to the shop. And so yeah, we've been busy.
Thanks, Notando.
Notando, as an entrepreneur, what are the best parts about being an entrepreneur for you, and what are the worst parts?
The stress, obviously, is the worst part of being an entrepreneur. But you know, the challenges for me are, because I'm like that. I like the challenges that come with it. I like to break through them. You know, I'll make an example with COVID. When it started, I sat there and I was like, okay, you had a good run, Nolly, well done. But then when I got back into the shop and I tried to find ways to keep the customers coming back, and I sent my rep on the road. I went out on the road with him, and when it turned around and we started picking up again, for me that was the gratitude. So yeah.
The next question is more a tough question.
Sure.
Plant hire is plant hire is plant hire.
Yes.
It feels, for me, even Umbilo plant hire, you know, it's quite localized.
Yeah.
Because of the weight and the cost of the equipment.
Yes.
So how do you innovate in an industry that is almost a commodity?
Okay.
You know, it's like, who's close by, what's the price?
Yes.
And if there are two of you and you're both close by, and please don't say customer service.
No.
Okay. So how are you going to innovate? How do you think about innovation in your business?
Okay, so I hear what you've said, and I'm not going to say customer service, but in my shop, we actually build relationships with the customers to the extent, for instance, I know that if my customer needs a machine and he's going to Bizana, there isn't a plant hire shop in Bizana. But if I can tell my customer, I will give you this equipment and charge you 3 days out of the 4 or out of the 5 days that you're actually going to be in Bizana to cover your cost for the days where you're not using the equipment. So that is one way that I've managed to make sure that business keeps coming my way. And by so doing, when the customers are moving to, for instance, I know that there's a desperation for a plant hire shop in the Eastern Cape. I know because my customers keep pulling me towards that direction. But if I wasn't helping them with these arrangements, I wouldn't know that information. So in the back of my mind, I know that there's a chance that I could have a shop down there.
Okay, Nothando, thanks for your pitch.
Sure.
You may leave.
Thank you.
Sure, thoughts?
Well, I'm going to be a little contentious. I'm intrigued to understand the customer service element, because I know you said don't say customer service. I'm a sort of big proponent that often when customer service is significantly different, it actually can present itself as a true differentiator. People accuse banks of being a bank as a bank as a bank. We say, well, customer service is what can distinguish us. I mean, were you worried about that she would just throw it out there because it's generally a throwaway answer? Or do you feel that it's not a distinguishing feature for that type of business?
A bit of both,
Okay.
in the sense of that the normal go-to place for differentiation for all entrepreneurs when you ask them that question is price and customer service. And how do you measure customer service? So what's the thought behind that? In other words, how do you know that my customer service is better than your customer service? So what are the metrics around that you can say that she's going to do? So they generally go there, and that makes them lazy thinkers in terms of differentiation.
Okay.
So I take away that option from them, because I knew price, I was hoping she wouldn't go price. So I took that away because I knew instinctively she would go there.
Okay.
So I wanted to see how she was thinking about differentiation. That's where I was going.
Okay, thanks. I just want to understand that better because I'm like a big advocate of service being
No,
differentiated, but when it works.
Yeah,
when
but
people-
I'm not saying she shouldn't. I
Yeah.
want something more.
Okay, cool.
It's and. Your thoughts?
She did better the last time.
I agree.
I think the nerves got the better of her, and she didn't come across as strongly as authoritative on what she's talking about. She was quite rattled, even some of the answers and responding to those. So a bit disappointing for me this round.
I thought it was just me, but I also thought last time was a lot stronger, lot stronger, more assertive. She took her power. There was a powerful woman in the first pitch. There was a less powerful woman in front of us today. I thought her answers waffled, and then to the question from the 650. The question still goes on in my mind. If it's such a good business, she could go to Nedbank and, she could put a case forward to fund more equipment if it was there. So it seems quite a sort of a standard requirement for funding that you could get in a standard way through, a financial services company, not necessarily through competition such as this. So, yeah, I was expecting more.
But just on that last point, Alon, I think she could go to an institution, a financial institution, but at the same time, I can't fault her for making use of this opportunity to get 650,000 Rand.
Good point.
At which, if she's successful, costs her nothing, apart from the time that she's dedicated to this process. So if I was in her shoes, I'd be doing exactly what she's done by coming and standing in front of us here today.
Good point. Good point. All right, let's score.
Tando, I saw a huge jump from round 1 to round 2. Did you feel it?
I did feel it, I want to say. I felt that I was a little bit more confident and less nerves came into play, and I just came to share really about the business.
I'll tell you my biggest takeout, and you spoke about it more than once.
Okay.
That the guiding that you've been getting has actually made a difference already in your business.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about that.
Yes, definitely. I'm now able to, I'm not afraid to talk about my business with people, which was an issue before, where, a little bit shy. But having the guiding sessions have kind of given me that, that little je ne sais quoi.
So, in your heart of hearts,
Yes.
you believe you've done enough to go to round 3?
I believe I've given everything that I have within me.
I saw it.
Yes.
Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Dear judges, it is not my place to say this, but I believe this was the strongest one. This was tough. If you tell me it's not, I'll worry about you. I battle to choose. Bulela, what did you see?
Very easy one for me this round.
Wow.
No contest in this round.
You can give me a name.
Have to wait
Alan,
for that
you should
one.
agree with me. It can't be
I
that
agree with
easy.
you.
Yeah.
It was more difficult for me. You know, and it's, in sports, they've got a term for this. In big World Cup tournaments, you get these things called the pools of death, where you have these strong teams performing
Yeah.
against each other. Well, this for me was the pool of death.
Yeah.
And whilst I felt there was an individual that perhaps presented and pitched better, I'm struggling to balance that with what I believe are sort of business cases where, you know, one business case actually feels easier to understand, more sustainable than potentially the other. So that's what I'm grappling with at the moment. This was a pool of death for me.
Was it about the jockey or jockeys or the horses for you?
It's always about the jockeys first, but the horses need to have 4 legs. And both the horses had 4 legs, so to speak. So both business, but one had 4 stronger legs, and in my opinion, the other one had a possibly better jockey. But my issue here today, I expected this to be the hardest thing, and I was really disappointed by one of the pitches. I was expecting a much better pitch. But to Alan's point, you know, you have to look at it not from all perspectives, from the pitch and from the underlying business as well.
Thank you very much for your feedback. And in the group of death, unfortunately, one has to be eliminated.
Hello, contestants.
Hello.
If there was ever a picture on a poster of the hope for South Africa's future, this is the picture in front of me. This right here, what we've seen so far, gives us as judges huge hope in the future of this country.
Thank you. That's great.
So it's time for elimination, and we're going to start off by giving you some things to think about in terms of improving not just your pitches, but what to think about in your business. Bulela?
Ladies first, Notando. Your pitch this time wasn't as strong as the first time. You seem to shrink in the spotlight this time around. Don't ever give up that space and that power that you hold standing there. I think you also didn't use your time fully. You ran out of time, and some of the questions would have helped you expand more on what you didn't cover, but you didn't seem to quite take that opportunity to do so. Luvo, you speak very fast, so that tends to give anxiety as well as you listen to you because you're moving so quickly. But we do understand that you're trying to get through a lot of information and a lot of complex information at that. Do work on it, slow down the pace, take breaths in between. I'm not sure if you spoke about the 650 and how you would use it. If you did, it isn't something that amongst us we could easily tap into or recall. So work on that as well so that it's lasting in terms of what exactly are you needing the funds for, how will you utilize them. We missed that part from you.
All right, now comes the point where one of the pictures, one of the people in the poster is going to evaporate. And I have the unenviable job of making one of you evaporate today. But not evaporate from our economy, not evaporate from the future, but just evaporate from this contest right now. So please know that. Every round we've thought it's the toughest round to judge. This was no different. This was really, 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 really difficult. And coming into this, I think all three of us knew that this would be a tough round to judge. But judge we must, that's our job. And so I too will start with ladies, Notando. I agree with Bulela that this pitch wasn't as good as the last one. You're a powerful woman, a very powerful woman. It came across last time, less so this time, but there's still a powerful woman in front of all of us today. It feels like you're a no-nonsense kind of person, and when you're an investor, like you don't like to invest in fluffy people, and you're not a fluffy person. You're a straight talker, and that came across for us today.
I appreciate that.
Your business model is very sound. It's an old business model, and so it makes it easier from an investor to understand that, because plant hire, it's not like you're the first person to do plant hire. I think you lost a little bit of an opportunity with me when I asked for what the innovative thinking was. You lost that opportunity, but nonetheless, if you want a meat and potatoes, want a return as an investor or a banker, a no-nonsense entrepreneur in a no-nonsense business that's understood, it's a winning recipe. Your numbers came across strong, that you obviously went into your numbers, and I hope no matter whether you get through to the next round or don't get through to the next round, I hope that sort of respect for the numbers remains with you. Luvo, investors like multiple income streams. They know that sometimes things are cyclical and there's a lot of risk in business. So when there are multiple revenue streams, that's good. We do think that you missed a couple of opportunities there, but I think all in all, I think you've thought about those income streams well. You understand your client base, but I get a very strong sense from your pitch and from your tonality that you know your client. What I particularly like and what I love investing in is people who've done something. And just like Nothando, who's done it, she's not thinking about it or having conversations about it, she's done it. When Alan asked you the question, when you're going to start franchising around, I've done 3. Oh, good, right. That makes me feel very good. And then you said something that always every single investor likes to hear, which is the fact that you're open to mentorship. That means that you're open to learning. That means there's a level of humility in you, that you still got a long road ahead of you, as do all entrepreneurs, no matter what your age, to still learn and improve and be better. So, who evaporates? Does the water in your aquaponic tank evaporate?
5% of it does.
Yeah. Does the diesel in your the tanks of your equipment evaporate?
If you run it long enough.
So which one of you is going to evaporate? The person who'll be staying, the person who'll be going to the next round, the entrepreneur who's going to have a shot at 650,000 Rand cash to inject into their business. Is Luvo.
Well done, Luvo. Well done.
Notando, don't go.
Yes, sir.
Don't go.
Oh.
We've got a surprise for you.
Oh.
Okay, Alan wants to say something to you.
Sure.
I'm not sure it's a surprise, but I think, and I know it won't necessarily overcome the disappointment that you may be feeling right now, but in our deliberations, and one of the points I made, I'm a banker, as you probably know. I work for Nedbank. I'm an executive. I look after specifically our small business efforts.
Yes.
And when I look at what you've told us and what I've heard from you, I see a bankable, fundable business. And so every part of my instinct and my fibre is telling me that your path to the growth that you're looking to achieve can be achieved through mechanisms other than pitch and polish. And if you are willing to talk to us, I would relish the opportunity of talking to you around how else can we help you
Yeah.
on the growth journey that you're wanting to embark
It's
upon,
amazing.
because I think there's no guarantees.
No, that's fine.
But I think, you know,
Yeah.
if we, you know, given what you said, let's get closer to, you know, some of the detail. It sounds to me like you've got a really fundable business that maybe through more traditional platforms,
Yeah.
that we can help you on that same
Thank
path.
you so much.
So your
I
path doesn't
appreciate
need
that.
to be lost. There's just maybe an alternative way.
I appreciate that a lot. Thank you guys for the opportunity.
Pleasure.
It's been amazing. Thank you so much.
Luvo, well done. And you can both walk off.
Oh.
You can both evaporate together. Thank you.
I'm so proud of you.
That was definitely a tough one for the judges. It's great to see that even though Nothando does not go through to the semi-final round, other opportunities could be opening up for her. Huge congratulations to Luvo, who takes the 3rd spot in the semis. Next week, our remaining 2 contestants from the yellow group, Barty Lestona and Victor Sables, will go head-to-head for that last slot in the semi-final. Do join me again next Tuesday at 7 o'clock. Thanks for watching. From me, Rams Mabote, good night and God bless.
I was prepared for either or, to be honest. So when he was speaking to me, I kind of added up the maths, and I realized as well that, you know, there are other opportunities, and this was an amazing platform. I would encourage anyone to come and learn, especially young entrepreneurs, to come and just learn how to present themselves and how to speak to the investors. It's really a great platform to do that.